All right, I think I'm good to go. So for those of us that attended the last session, it was on Excel basis, and I hope we can still remember one or two things, because today will be another practical session where we are going to use all of the knowledge we got from that previous session. All right, so today I expect that everybody will be contributing and tell me, okay, one or two things to do on this review session. So I have shared a document with us if we have checked, and I also encourage that we check before today's session. Well, okay, in case we have not checked, let's then check together. So the hands-on project on Excel basis. So the project scenario is like this. You are going to follow a scenario of a recently hired junior data analyst in a local government office. So you assume that, yes, you have just been hired as a junior data analyst in a local government office, and you have been tasked with importing some data from another department which relates to inventory information about their fleet of vehicles. So and the data is in CSV format. So CSV simply means comma separated value. Comma separated value, CSV. So in Excel, just to highlight this here, in Excel we have two primary formats for our data. Is either you store your data in CSV, which is comma separated value, or you save it in form of XLSX. All right, XLSX. Don't let me bite my tongue. So I hope you got that. So you understand better as we go. So first of all, because our data is a raw data. All right, so we don't expect to be told as a data analyst that the first assignment when we have a data set is not just to jump on it and start analyzing and start drawing visuals and start doing all sorts of things. No, the first assignment to do after data collection is to sit down and understand the data and then begin to clean the data. Because actually you need to understand the kind of data sets you have been given. If you have just been hired to work for a particular company, for the very first month that you are there, you'll be studying their data sets, you'll be studying their databases. All right, so you need to have the good understanding of the business you are in, and then understand the kind of data sets you are working with, and then you'll be able to know what to do under the cleaning stages. Right, so the first stage is data collection, then the second stage is data cleaning. I hope you got that. So we are going to okay, so cleaning up before you can start to run any kind of analysis on it. So we have been told here that our data is in comma separated value CSV format, and the data also needs cleaning up before you can start to run any kind of analysis on it. That being said, now we can go ahead to the business of the day. So the data set for our projects, the project have given us is this data set. So the link has been given you here. So you just need to click on this link. So the name is Montgomery Fleet Equipment Inventory. So you're just going to download this data set from here, all right? And then you're going to upload on your Excel software, either the desktop version or the Excel for the web. My favorite, the one I recommend to you to use anytime, any day, because you don't need to struggle with, I have not saved my data, and I have worked, I have cleaned all my data set, I have not saved it, and bam, my laptop crashed, or maybe power left and your laptop because it is a desktop or something like that. In any condition, it might be any condition. But I recommend strongly for everyone to use Excel for the web, because it's an online version and you can always access your data anywhere and anytime. And then also you can be sure that as you work, your data is being saved. I mean, your work or the activity is being saved. So you don't need to press Ctrl S countless times. That's just it. So the task to perform on this data set. So let me download this data set. Already I've downloaded. So I've downloaded the data set. Now I am using Excel for the web. So announcements, we are using Excel for the web. But all of these things I'll be doing, you can replicate them on your Excel desktop version. All right, so let's go ahead. This is my Excel for the web interface. And because I have already downloaded, I think, okay, I want to upload again. I've already downloaded my data set on my local computer. All right, so I want to upload it. Let me just upload the data set now. So you see, in case you are using Excel for the web, you always have the need to upload your data sets from your local computer. So under download, I have my Excel file there. A point note, in case I drop off, because I notice network is bad this evening, please just comment or drop a comment for me in the platform. So I'm going to use this. Right, just wait a bit, your data will upload. So it's already uploading. All right, and another thing is, if you are using Excel for the web, you need to be online, all right? You need to be online. But if you want to work offline, then I recommend I use your Excel desktop. All right. So this is my data set. very small data sets. I hope you can see my data set. I'm trying to just scroll up and down to just check how large my data set is. And now I'm just going to zoom out, guys, to see clearly. Let's increase. And if you are using your phone, tap on the screen of your phone twice and then expand to wherever you want to see. But on my part, I have tried to increase the screen size. All right, so we can continue. So the very first thing I want you to notice for whatever project you have at hand that you have been presented a kind of data set with. So please always study your data set first. At least know the columns. Okay, know the number of columns. This data set has how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. It actually have 4 columns with the labeling departments. The first column is having departments, equipment, count. So this is the way we got our data set. All right. So the very first task, let's just use our instruction to go about this task. So the very first task is that we should download the file which we have done, and then we should upload and then open the file with Excel for the web and convert it to an XLSX file. Then clean the data as detailed below. So the first thing we want to do is that I just want to convert this our data set, which is given in the form of CSV. So we want to change it to XLSX file. So how do we do that on Excel for the web? So it's simple. So you just come to view here. I hope you can see my screen. So if you follow the instruction very well, it's just going to give you the thing that you need to do. So you come to viewing and then you edit from there. So let's come to viewing. Where's our viewing? This is viewing. So there's always these 3 dots here in case you are not able to see, because I expanded my screen, so I was unable to see all of the ribbons. So I have these 3 dots, so just click on it. So it's going to give you that this file conversion. So for Excel for the web, it's automatically helps you to convert. So just click on convert. Then it has automatically converted my CSV file to XLSX. All right, so why that is being done, let's move to the next thing. So the second thing on the instruction document is column width. So let's sort out the width of all columns so that the data is clearly visible in all cells. So we can see that in our data sets, some columns are overlapping. Because of that, we just want to expand the columns. So that is the first thing. You know, I told you that you need to study your data, but how do you even study a data where all of the columns are just overlapping? So the first thing for you to do is expand so that you are going to see everything. Expand all the columns. So I'm trying to expand all the columns. Okay, network. All right, let's be patient. All right, so at times when you're working online, you can experience this. So, but not to worry, let's go ahead. So why that is being done, let's just go through the instruction. So we want to adjust the column width, and then we want to deal with empty rows. So when we are talking about data cleaning, we are talking about, okay, our data is in the raw state, so we want to at least refine it a bit, because we understand that why trying to load data set, there could be errors. Why trying to do data entry, you understand, you know, human mistakes could happen, spelling mistakes, duplicate records. You know, you can mistakenly enter records in duplicate. You understand? You can mistakenly put maybe triple spaces where you're supposed to just put 1 space. All of these are mistakes. And also at times too, we face the challenge of having empty rows. All right, so all of this should be dealt with before you begin your analysis. So number 1 thing is you want to see all your data, all your columns clearly by adjusting all the column width. And the number 2 thing is that you want to deal with all the empty rows such that there are no empty rows. You have all your data intact. And then the number 3 thing is that you want to deal with all duplicated records. So you remove all duplicate records and make them, you know, unique records. All right. So the next thing is you want to deal with spelling errors. All right, and then another one is that you want to deal with whitespaces. We call what do we call whitespaces? In the situation where you want to just type 1 space, you mistakenly type 2 spaces, so that can be referred to as whitespaces. All right, then another thing is you want to format your data into table format. So let's go back to our data set. Okay, here is our data set. So I said this thing we want to do is, because we want to be able to see all our columns, so we are just going to adjust or the column width. So adjust the column width. Just drag this. Drag the column line. That's very simple. I'm sure you should be able to do that easily, because then we can go to the next thing. The next thing is that we should filter empty rows. If you Barnabas, all right, if you can see my screen clearly, I want you to be able to tell me how many columns we have in this data set, and then maybe read out the column headers as you can see them.
There are 4 columns, and we have departments, equipment class, and equipment scans.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Barnabas. Okay. Now that I'm sure that we can all see the data sets, okay, what I told us in the first class is that we can use shortcuts to just check our data sets. Already we are able to see the upper part of the data set. It is also essential that we see the last column of the data set. What do we press? We use Control down arrow to get to the last data set. All right. Because we have empty spaces, we are not going to get to the down part of our data set easily. But let's try and clear all the empty rows first. When you have empty row data set, it will give you problem, because by the time you are trying to select all your data sets, it will not select everything. It will be breaking. Like at that point where we have the empty row, it will break, and all your data sets will not select. So you see the problem that you will encounter when you are just working with the data set that is messy. So what we need to do first of all is to just filter out all empty columns, all empty rows. And how do we do this? Let's select all our data sets. Before then, let's just go to filter, go to data here, click on filter, and then you can filter out the empty rows. So you see the empty rows in form of blanks. So you delete all the blanks, all the blank rows. All right. So once you click on filter, automatically you see this downward arrow in front of your columns. Please let me know when you can see that. You see this downward arrow in front of your columns. All right. So that's what you're going to use to filter empty rows. So let's see. You click on that downward arrow in front of maybe the primary row, the primary column. The primary column is that column that you are very sure that this column can never have any empty value. We call empty value null value in data analysis. So you are so sure that this particular column can never have empty row or empty space. So that is the column you use to filter out blanks. All right. So and we call that kind of column primary column or primary key. Okay. So now
We're seeing your screen in a bit.
Okay, so let me just expand the screen. I had to switch because I noticed that network is bad. You know, I said it's at the beginning of the session. Network is really bad here. So maybe because of the weather. So I'm going to be using desktop version so we can be as fast as possible. So I actually wanted to zoom out so you can see clearly. I hope you can see better now. So the first thing we wanted to do was to adjust the column width, which was just to see, we want to be able to see all the values inside each column. Okay. So I hope we are able to see all the columns clearly now. So the next step is for us to clear up all the empty rows, because empty rows can give you a headache. By the time you are trying to select all your data, it will not select, it will be breaking. So you need to do away with all the empty rows. And how do you do this? You are going to filter out. You are going to use filter. Filter is under data. On your ribbon, navigate to data, and then just go there and select filter. Yes, filter. Filter is always having that funnel logo. So under department or any column that you think, yes, this column can never have any empty row. So you click on it, or empty cell, click on that particular column and try to filter out all the blanks, Try to filter out all the blanks. We are facing the same issue here. All our data sets and then convert to table. All right. To convert to table, use your Control T, and then always check the box that says my table has headers. Okay, so we have been able to convert our table to our data set to table format. So once that is done, we can be able to perform any operation on the data sets easily. Because this data set is having some blanks, so it will give you issue before we can be able to do anything on it. And that is why I had to just change to table format. Now Excel is also angry. Well, I don't know what is happening today. Okay, so well, I'm just going to resort back to my Excel for the web now that we have the solution. I don't know if you can see at your hand that my Excel desktop is really hanging, because I really don't use this Excel desktop for serious work. It's really hanging, and because of that, I'm just going to switch back to my Excel for the web. Now that we know the problem, ANCs you encounter problems, but do not be overwhelmed when you encounter problems. There will always be a solution. So fix your mind at giving the solution to whatever problem you encounter. So today we are encountering the problem of network, the problem of whatever problem we want to fix it. So just a little patience. I'm going to share back my screen. All right, now I'm back to my Excel for the web. Well, I prefer to use Excel for the web because I don't have the problem of I've not saved my data or something like that. So I'm just going to select all my data set and then put in table format. I think I've been able to select all my data set now. So I'm just going to put in table format. So you come to insert and then pick table format. Create table, you pick create table. Then always my table has header and then okay. Okay, we have been able to convert our data into table. And then from here, we want to filter out all the blanks. Oh, now we have our blanks. Okay, now we have the blanks showing. So let's select just the blank because we just want to filter out the blanks. So apply. So now we have the blanks. We have that row 8, row 23, row 37, row 48, row 49, and row 64 are just blanks. So we want to just delete all these blanks. So let's select all the blanks and then right click. Under right click, you can then delete. So my Excel for web is showing that really delete rows 8 to 64. So we have been able to delete all the blanks, and then we can now reset it back. So click on that downward arrow in front of your column, and then come down here and just select all. If you check very well, you see that now we do not have blanks. So just select all and then apply. Everyone on the call, I'm sure that you see the problem we faced earlier on. The problem was due to the fact that we did not convert our data set into table, all right? And the data set was not able to give us the blank values, all right? And we needed to just expunge all the blank values, all the empty rows. So now this is a kind of advice, and also for us to note that whenever you are dealing with data sets, you are advised to put all your data sets in what format? In table format. And how do you do that? You click on insert table, and then you just convert your table to table format. So that way you are able to easily work with all your data sets. So we can go ahead. So the next thing for us to do now is to remove duplicate records. So we are on data cleaning. The first thing we did was to remove all empty rows. All right. Now the next thing is to remove duplicate records. So how do you remove duplicate record? Go to data and navigate to data, and then choose remove duplicates. So for my Excel for web, you always see these three options. Or better still, search. Come here and search. Anything you want to see, you want to use, any function you want to use, please come and just search. Remove duplicate. You want to remove duplicate. Okay. It will give us let's go back. Before you learn how to use shortcut, let's just do it the normal way first. So, but before you do anything, always Control A, which is for you to select all your data sets. And now we want to remove all duplicates records. So come to these three dots here and then navigate to remove duplicates. So automatically this will help you remove duplicates records. Okay, so to delete duplicate values, select one or more columns that contain duplicate. So you can select all your columns. Please select all the columns and then select my data as header. Select 1, 2, and then click OK. All right, so this is telling me that 4 duplicate values found and removed. 53 unique values remain. So that is the feedback I got. That is to tell us that we have successfully removed all duplicate records. Okay. So the next thing for us to do is we want to check spellings. You know, I told you that part of data cleaning is spelling checks. You do spelling checks and then you just replace with the normal spelling that you think it should be. All right. So before you do anything on your data set, like I said, always let's remove this additional column at the back. Delete column. Okay. Okay, good. So always select all your data. Please to select all your data sets. You use Control A. So you select your data set by using Control A and then navigate to spelling. So how do you check this? You go to review. Review. You want to review your data spelling. So you check spelling. Select spelling. Under spelling, it's going to just be suggesting for you the spelling that should be there. All right. So the first thing we can see here is vehicle equipment. You see, it is in red. So it's telling us that spelling is not correct. And then the suggestion we have is vehicle equipment, which is the correct spelling. So we want to apply that. So we can say change all. So by changing all, it means that anywhere that particular error is occurring, it's just going to change for us automatically. So this is another error that we encounter, spelling error, rehabilitation. So this rehabilitation, the spelling is not correct. So we have J instead of I think. So we want to correct that spelling. So we have suggestions here. It's saying that is it rehabilitation we want or rehabilitations. So let's just click rehabilitation and then let's change all. Okay, it's giving us another suggestion that environmental is not correct. Environmental, it has M before N, which is not correct. So there are some things here. So we are going to choose the one that we think it should be. So I think it's the first suggestion. So just change all. So it's going to change all for you. The reason why you need to understand your data set. When you understand your data set, you are familiar with maybe the terms the company use. You understand maybe abbreviation or something like that. So you are able to know what to do with those ones. So, but if you don't understand your data, you just think those spellings are not correct. Meanwhile, they are correct. So that's the more reason you need to understand the business or the data that you are dealing with. So the next one is rescue. This spelling is not correct. So we are going to correct it here. So change all. Services is not also correct. Have C before I, but we should have I before C. So you select this first option, just change all. You don't have to be tired. The data cleaning stage is the stage where you expend more energy when you are doing data analysis, because your data, once it is not clean, it will continue to give you a problem, or the kind of analysis you do will just amount to a waste of time when your data is not well cleaned. But if your data is well cleaned, you are rest assured that any analysis you perform is authentic. All right. So now, good. Spelling check complete. On selected range, you are good to go. Who is happy? I'm happy. So check this. So we are good to go. And then we can go back to our instruction. What other thing do we need to do to clean our data set? We can find and replace white spaces. You know, I told us that because of human errors can make our data entry to be inconsistent in terms of maybe we want to put one space, we mistakenly put double spaces. All of these things will affect your data sets, your analysis. So you need to do away with all of these things. And I can tell you that in data analysis, that stage where you expend more of your time and energy is data cleaning stage. All right. So let's check for the next thing to do. The next thing to do, I know, is after checking our spellings, of course, we want to check that, okay, there are no irrelevant spaces. So you can trim out your spaces. Use the find and replace feature to remove all double spaces from the data. All right. So let's go back to our data set and just go ahead and move all the double spaces and then replace them with just one space. You know, it's just normal that when we are typing, we want to type, let me say I want to type Mr. Hello. It's normal for me to put one space after typing the Misala, one space, then allo. All right. So, but in the case that we have double spaces before maybe the last name, you know, it's not the normal thing to do. So we want to do away with all of these double spaces. So we call them white spaces. So what do? We go to home. But don't forget, I've always said we should use Control A to select all our data, but when the data is even in table, we are very rest assured that anything we are doing on our data is applying to the old data set. All right, so let's just go to home and then let's navigate to find and replace. Find and replace will help you to do many things during cleaning. During your cleaning stages, it will help you to do a lot of things. Find and values you have there should be maybe 1. Now you're having 2. You can say that you want to find all of the places where we have 1 and then replace with 2. So it will automatically do that for you. So let's just find white spaces. We are looking for white spaces. That is irrelevant spaces. So white spaces could mean maybe like double spaces. Let me just say, you just type whatever you want to find. Just type it. Now we are finding double spaces. So I can say find all. So it should give me all of the places where there are white spaces. All right. And then I can say replace. So it's not only for you to find. So you need to replace with the actual thing. So now we want to replace with just 1 space. So you can come here and say replace all. So it's telling me that matches replaced 3. So it has found that there are 3 places where we use double irrelevant spaces, and then it's been able to correct that to just 1 space, and that is all about that. So at this point, I want to ask, is there any question? Is there any question before we move ahead?
Contribution.
Okay, contribution. All right, go ahead.
We can also use the trim function to remove the double space. That's what I just want to contribute.
Well, no, I didn't get that. What can we use to remove double spaces?
Like using the trim function.
Yes, we can also use trim to remove double spaces. Yeah, that's great. All right, thank you. So we can go ahead. And now we want to see some things in our data that are not really consistent. Number 1, I told you, you need to understand your data set. If you do not understand your data set, you need to call maybe on some people in your department to maybe just explain the format of the data for you. Now, by understanding these data sets, we see that departments, we have 2 rows under department, what does this mean? And then if you check the values that we have, we say we have board of what? So it means that during data entry, or when we were loading our data, it happened that the data has been split into 2. The column department has been split into 2, and because of that, we have some reflecting on one part and the other part of the information on another column. So we want to just merge these 2 columns because this is just a continuation. This second column is the continuation of the first column. So we should have board of elections. All right, instead of having board of in one column and then election in another column. So we just need to merge these 2 together. So how do we do this without having to do it manually? So there is something we call flash fill in Excel. So that is the function we are going to be using. But before then, I need to create a new column. So creating a new column, I can just select this column and right click and then say insert 1 column to the left. Okay, I wanted to insert to the right, but it does not matter. So let's say department. I mean the title. Okay, now I told you that we can use flash fill function, or we use Control E to merge values together in Excel. So I can type the first one, that's board of. Just type the first one, board of elections. Board of elections. Okay, so we can use flash fill. Where do you get your flash fill? You can get your flash fill on the home. On the data, you can find your flash fill. All right, sorry for the interruption. Right, sorry. I cannot see my screen. Can you see my screen now?
We can see it now.
The data cleaning, we are almost done. Just a minute. It appears the screen I'm sharing now is not the correct one I shared before. So let's just share the one we are working with now. Okay, so we are here, and then let's just go ahead with the data cleaning. So in a few moments, we should wrap it up. So we have formatted our data as table. We want to just create a pivot table. But before I go ahead, did we understand to this point of the data cleaning? Osaru. Hello, Osaru. Can you speak up if you follow through to this point?
Yes, but the line was breaking at some point.
Yes, network is really bad this evening. In fact, I had to use 3 internet connection sources for this session because it kept throwing me out. All right, so thank you for following to this point. So I can just do a little recap because I know that some of us joined late. So the data set we were working with was initially in CSV format. So what we did first was to convert that to XLXL. What am I saying? XLSX. All right. So after doing that, we then formatted our data. We formatted it into table format because we realized that because of the empty rows, we were unable to perform some operations that we wanted to perform. So there was a need for us to just create our table to convert our data set into table format. All right. And we did that by using the insert. So under insert, we just click on table, and that was how we did that. And then we just moved to the next phase, which was that we wanted to see all our columns clearly. We wanted to see all the values in our columns clearly, and that was why we had to adjust the column width. So that was what we did, and we expanded it. And then the third one was that we removed all empty spaces. For us to remove all empty spaces, we had to put the data in. Okay, after creating the data in table format, it will show this downward arrow in front of each column. So you are going to use your primary column, the column that you know that yes, this column can never be empty no matter what. All right, it is the column that uniquely identifies all the rows. So having known the primary column, then you use that to filter out all blanks, and that is just to filter out all empty rows. So you just click to the options that you have here. Now we do not have blank spaces, but then when we had it, it gave us that we had blanks, and then we just selected the blank and then filter out by deleting all the blanks, and that was how we went about that. Then the third thing we did was to remove all duplicates, because we understand that yes, there could be human error where they have mistakenly enter one row twice or thrice or something like that. So we had to do away with duplicate records, and then to do that, we just use this data. See, what we have up here, they are called ribbon. This is our ribbon, and then on the ribbon we have home, we have file, we have home, we have insert. That was where we used our remove duplicate. All right, so this is remove duplicates if you are using Excel for the web. If you are using Excel desktop, you also find it on the data. So just use your remove duplicates. But before you do that, make sure you have selected all your data sets and just remove duplicates. All right, that was what we did. And then for another thing that we did was we understand that there could also be human errors by a way of typographical errors, spelling errors. All right, so we had to do away with all the spelling errors. And how did we do this? We navigated to review on our ribbon, and then we navigated to spelling. This is spelling, and then from there we're able to use spelling, and that was what we did. So the other thing we did was to remove all blank spaces, and what we did at this stage was we used the find and replace option. So we noticed that there are some irrelevant spaces which we call white spaces. All right, so we needed to do away with all of those spaces. So we navigated to home. Under home, then we check for find and replace. You can always search whatever you're looking for. Please search it to save you time. I'm only showing us so that they exist here and where they are existing. So we use the find and replace function. So find is will help you to find whatever you are looking for in your data set, and then replace will help you to impute the value you want to replace with. All right, so we replace double spaces with just one space. All right, and that was what we did. So the next thing we did was we initially realized that our departments were in 2 columns. We have just double column saying department. And when we look at the data very well, we see that column 2, which is another department, which is called department 2 column, is the continuation of department 1. All right, so we needed to just merge the 2 columns together. So, and what did we do to join the 2 columns together? We use our flash fill option. All right, the flash fill function. So under there, we created just another empty column, and then there we just used Control E. You use Control E, but before you use Control E, you are going to just like now. Let me just repeat that for the sake of those who didn't see that. Barnabas, I have not forgotten. You were trying to tell us another option or another method that we can use to populate or to join 2 columns. All right, so I want you to tell us because I want to learn. So I inserted another column to the right, and then I just label it department again. I name it department. So Excel is very smart in that it's able to understand pattern very fast. We have what we call fill and do, and we also have flash fill. Okay, sorry, I am pronouncing it this way. But let's say we want to even put this in capital letter. So capital letters of board of elections. I just want to show you what your flash fill can do for you. So flash fill is able to understand pattern and is able to replicate pattern for you in Excel. So with this, you can say Control E. You can say Control E. I don't know, Saru, can you see what Excel did for us here? It was able to understand that, yes, we were trying to put this in capital letter. All right, you can use uppercase, lowercase, but I feel flash fill, if you're able to use it well, it's just perform multiple functions for you. All right, so Saru, can you speak up if you have anything to say concerning this?
I'll try this Control E because I've tried this flash fill before. I don't know, it didn't really work for me. I've not done it, but previously.
It didn't work for you.
I'll try this Control E.
Please try it again. Try it again. Another option is you can come to, it's flash. Control E is just a shortcut. Come to flash fill here and just, select it from the option here. But you can use Control E. I enjoy using shortcuts. If you have listened to our previous session, I touch on some shortcut that we can use. Of course, we always use shortcuts while we go. So that is it. And then let me do Control E. Let's say we want to just say okay, let me say we want to just say B election, and let's see if it's able to understand this pattern. Like we want to just pick a letter from the first word and then join with the last word. So let's see if Control E, which is the flash fill shortcut, is able to do something for us here. Control E. Ensure you are selecting that particular column. I don't know if you saw what we have here. Does it correlate? Okay, yes, you can just see what we have here. The first letter of the first word, and then, so I'm just showing you what your flash fill can do for you. It can do so many functions. So let's just cancel this column here. Let's delete this column here. I just use this as an example. So Osaru, you're going to try it again using maybe your, I don't know the software you're using, maybe desktop or Excel for the web, the online version. So just try it and let us know on the group page what you got after trying. So let's continue, please. So what we need to do is want to create a pivot table. Let's see from our project that we are forming actually. So the part 2, let's just run through part 2. I'm not going to do everything for us on part 2 because it's just the repetition of what we did last time. So part 2 is saying that we should format data as table. We have done that. Then we should use auto sum to calculate values. So we can just copy all of these things. So we want to calculate. In our last session, we showed us how we can use all of these functions. So we can just copy and just paste that. So I will leave a space before, or 2 spaces before pasting. Okay, so here is what we have. So I want to put in this. All right, so you can use auto sum. This is what we are trying to do. We want to just have the summation or the sum of what we have under equipment count, because that's the only numeric column that we have here. All right, you can only perform operations on numeric columns. Okay, so we just want to perform numeric operations on our numeric column. So we can say equals sum, or you use auto sum. You can use auto sum function, or let's use the traditional way by saying your formula equals to your formula, and then what do you want to do? I don't know if you followed that through. So we use equals to the formula we want to use sum, and then you can come here and select all your data set. But this application I'm using is so smart. It has given me the option that, okay, this is the only numeric column. So it has given me that option. All right, so I leave you to do the remaining, the average, minimum, maximum counts. Please complete the remaining. We have used the previous class to explain that. So create a pivot table. How do you create pivot table? Easily, we can create pivot table. So using our data sets, now the data set has been formatted into table. So we can say Control A to select all the data, and then use the Insert tab to create pivot table. All right, so this is our pivot table now. It's still loading. All right, now we have it. So quickly, what we want to just do is that we just want to have our department and the equipment count, just that. All right, so we want to have department in rows, and then equipment counts as values. So you add to value. So the essence of pivot table, now let me explain. The essence of pivot table is, you have this large data set that you have been presented with, but you see that the analysis you want to do, you just need few columns from your data set. The only thing you need to do is to know the name of the column that you want to deal with, all right? And then create pivot table where you can have those columns only. Do you understand? And with those columns only, you will be, less bombarded with numerous data sets. So that helps you to limit your data set you are working with to the confines of what you really need. All right. And from there, you can perform all sorts of operations that you want to perform. Do you want to create visuals? You want to use your sum, average, whatever operations you want to perform. So that's just the essence of creating your pivot table. All right. So here, I only need my departments column and sum of equipment column, and that is just it. So, and I've been able to do that. And then what else can I do? I want to filter the sum of equipment count. I want to filter it. And then your pivot table will be able to give you the sum of values. It can also give you average depending on what you set it to give you. But first off, I want to see the sum of all values. A moment. So what I want to do here is just to sort by sum of equipment value. I want to be able to see it from the largest value to the smallest value. Sort by value. You can say sort by value and then come to largest to smallest. So now we have what we are looking for. So that is just on pivot table. I just quickly touch on that. The main thing for this session was Excel cleaning, how to clean data. And I hope we got the hang of data cleaning a bit from the session. Osaru.
Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. Oh, you're welcome. Barnabas. Barnabas, I haven't forgotten. Under Flash fill, you were going to suggest a method. Do you still want to give us that method so we can learn?
We learned last week actually. We can join both rows together using concatenate function.
Okay. All right. So you use what works for you. All right. So I always like it very simple. We are learning. All right. And if you feel concatenate, we do it better. So just go by. If you think Flash fill or Control E, we do it faster. The main thing is for you to be efficient as a data analyst. All right. So, and I think we've been able to learn one or two. Please, if you have any question, please, this is time to ask. We should just wrap up after the questions. Do you have any question?
Suggestion.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, like I didn't talk while you were saying looking for the find or replace.
Okay.
We can use Control H for find or replace.
Okay, good. Control H.
In case if we don't want to go about the ribbon or something.
Yes, I have always said that we need shortcuts to be very efficient instead of looking for it on the ribbon. All right, you really don't need to know where it is. You can search or you use Control H, which is a shortcut. Okay, so Osaru, do you have any contribution?
Not really. I'm here to learn.
Okay. I see you are a data analyst already. So this platform is for us to just learn together. You understand? So this data analytics journey, you just continue to learn. All right. So we have projects. We just do it together like this. We review the project together, put heads together, and just make something out of the project and put in our portfolio. So I think in the next session we should touch on how to build a portfolio, so that having completed the first project, we can just put it in our portfolio. All right, and like that. So thank you very much for showing up. And then I really want you to try your hands on this thing that we have done. I mean, the project is there on the platform. Please you need to know how to clean your data set. All of the tools that we have in data analysis, they are either used to clean data sets or to perform analysis. All right. So Excel is there that can clean data for you perfectly. Although for Excel, you have some limitations. By the time you advance as a data analyst, you know the limitations. But we also need to have a good grasp of Excel, because most of the companies now, they use Excel. And if you just really want to fit in properly, you should use what they use, or you can be using your own advanced tool also as well, and so that they know that yes, you are an efficient data analyst. All right. But I just want to encourage that we learn from the very beginning, which is Excel. Okay, we still advance to SQL, to using Tableau, Power BI, Power Query for data cleaning, and even Python if time permits. All right. So I just want to thank you for joining the session. I hope it's not a waste of time, really. Osaru, Barnabas.
It's okay. It
Okay, Barnabas, go ahead. Osari, stop for you.
oh, it is okay. And there are things that I just pick from yours, and add
You also contributed as
to
well.
what I have. And there are things
Yes,
I pick from the one so that's and as we
yes,
go on,
that is
we keep
actually,
contributing.
yeah.
SQL
Yes, that's
using
actually good.
commands, select,
Yes,
where,
yes,
group by
yes,
as you go
exactly.
on.
Barnabas is actually Barnabas is a guru. Now I'm going to Barnabas is a guru. Now I'm going to ask everyone on the platform to hold you tight because you also have advanced knowledge of all these things. And I know that Osarity is a data analyst who can help us out on the platform as well. I know many people are dragging feet because they don't know where to start, but this is the very beginning we are starting with, and I just encourage everyone to take it seriously. All right, thank you very much for your time, and see you another time. Bye for now.
What time is the next meeting?
Well, it depends on the next project. By the time I'm able to collate another project, then I'm going to post it, and then I'm going to also ask for the time we should also have this kind of session again.
I wish it would be around this time, or
okay.
12 to 1 on Saturday.
Saturday. All right. We'll look into that. How about Osaru? What do you think? Osaru, I hope that is the name you want us to call you. Right? Yes. That is what I see here. Okay.
Evenings are like
okay. Weekends, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And please always contribute. I'll be leaving messages on the platform. Sorry, if you have not filled your form, please fill the form so I can get in contact with you via email.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much for attending to this session. So do have a beautiful week ahead.
All right. You too.
And again, before I go, I've been posting job opportunities. Please just start from somewhere. Please just let's start applying with the little skills we have. Please put your CVs together. We also have a session on that. It will bring experts to come and tell us how we can just put our CVs together as data analysts and start to apply for jobs. All right. As time goes on, we know what to do. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Regards to family.